Hey, so today I want to talk a little bit about Ted Williams in reference to a conversation I had with someone recently whose opinion was that Barry Bonds was the greatest baseball, is the greatest baseball player to ever played. And generally, I've heard people make the case for Babe Ruth, Willie Mays, and Barry Bonds, and I'm not trying to dispute that. I think they all have their merits. I think it's hard to not bring into the equation that Barry Bonds may have used some supplements. But anyway, in that conversation, I highlighted, just isolating batting, and Ted Williams' sort of prowess as a batter, because over the past couple years, maybe during quarantine, as I've gotten more familiar with this particular site, Baseball Reference, it's given me an even better appreciation for Ted Williams and his hitting prowess. So I'm going to go through that a little bit here. One, you just look at his career, and everything in bold is led the league, and this is clearly the record of an all-time great. This is some back of a baseball card here. And he's the all-time leader in on-base percentage. And it's also just notable the time he missed in his peak the peak of his career. You can see he's MVP2, MVP1, and then here he is missing 3 years peak time. With these types of stats. This is World War II. And then we have again, you see he missed a lot of time here, right? Again, this is Korean War. He was a pilot in both the World War II and the Korean War. He was also John Glenn's wingman in the Korean War. John Glenn has, glowing things to say about Ted Williams as a pilot. Ted Williams is a decorated veteran, but that's besides the point. We're talking about him as a hitter. Just an amazing career. He's not going to have all the counting stats of some of the other greats because he did miss that time. Along of the lines of the conversation that I had recently, I just want to compare him to Barry Bonds here. And again, I'm not trying to say that, I'm not trying to make an argument that Ted Williams was the better hitter, bringing everything into the equation. I think maybe it is my opinion, but I'm really not trying to, put that in your face. I'm just trying to show a couple of key stats here. I've come to find the single easiest reference point or data point for hitting to be OPS, and that you may find that some may find that a little lazy, but I think more needs to be considered than OPS. But I think that is maybe the single most valuable data point to look at if you only want to look at one data point. And OPS is on base percentage plus slugging percentage. So when you look at his OPS, you see that Ted Williams, had Barry Bonds beat there by quite a bit, actually. And he had, batting average. Ted Williams is stellar, historically. He also, on base percentage, quite a big difference there. Slugging percentage. This is pretty compelling here. And then, it also matters how did people perform relative to the other players in their day, right? So that's what OPS takes us into. So it's sort of like an IQ of 100 is average relative to the population. So relative to baseball players of his day, Barry Bonds, his OPS was OPS plus was 182. Ted Williams was 191. So he was even better in his day against his players of his time. Another stat here some other stats that I think are cool to review here. Barry Bonds wins here in the home run percentage. Ted Williams gets the lower strikeout percentage. Ted Williams was walked more base on balls. So that I think a lot of people would find surprising. And then extra base hits, the same. So the same amount of extra base hits. So I just feel like this is some compelling data to consider. And which brings me to the next part of this video.
And that is baseball cards. So Ted Williams baseball cards. There are several baseball cards of Ted Williams. Not actually not as much as most big time Hall of Famers of his era, because he wasn't in any Topps cards until 1954. His play ball rookie is, I think, his most sought after card, or most valuable might be the right way to say it. I love the 1948 Leaf. I think that's an amazing looking card. My favorite Ted Williams card, just on appearance alone, is the 1954 Topps 250, which is illustrated here in Project 2020. Now, this doesn't do it justice, I don't think. I also have this little card. What do they call these things? This is a manufactured patch of a card. So this is the way it looks. This is the last card in the set, number 250. This isn't actually the last card in the set, because this is a patch, but it's a cool patch. So it is my favorite Ted Williams card, and is the one that I've been most trying to get. And this is actually it. So I really love the way this card pops. I love the yellow. So my criteria was a vivid card first and foremost, and then hopefully a well-centered card, and then everything else is gravy. So I think this is vivid. I also love his pretzel stance here that they have nice and big. Which was missing from this, which actually I thought was a drawback. I feel like that pretzel stance that's kind of the quintessential pose that I love. And they had the cool cartoon backs. Super happy to have and share this card. One of my favorite cards of all time. I think this card, in terms of Topps, I think it's this card and the 1956 Roberto Clemente, which is his second year card. I feel like those two cards, and I don't have that card, those two cards, at least from the 50s, are my favorite looking Topps cards. Point being, I like this card a bit. All right, thank you.